welcome back to Cheap Lazy Vegan and another video. Today guys, as you can see, I did a meal prep. Yes guys, I meal prepped a bunch of food using some leftover ingredients in my fridge. So as you know, I cook for a living, so I have a lot of little things left over, and if there's one thing I hate the most, it is waste. Okay, I do not like waste, so I never want my food to go bad. So I wanted to just kind of use up some of the ingredients before any of them went bad. So yes, I encourage you to do the same. Go through your fridge and try to see what you can make from what you have in the fridge instead of going out and buying too many new things, okay? Because we don't want to contribute to food waste. Anyways, all of these recipes are also high protein, healthy, delicious. I have tried them all. Yes, I have tried them all. As you guys might know, I love meal prepping. I think meal prepping is one of the best ways to stay on track of your fitness goals, whether you want to lose weight, gain muscle, whatever you want to do. It's a great way to stay on track and keep you motivated. Secondly, it's a great way to stay vegan, especially if you are a new vegan and you're trying Veganuary or you've just gone vegan. It's a great way to stick to the vegan diet. I know one of the most difficult things about being vegan is sometimes just not having that access to a vegan meal whenever you need it. So this eliminates that kind of situation, okay, if you already have food prepared for yourself. And of course, one of my favorite things about meal prep is that you save time in the future. Yes, it might take some time as you are meal prepping, but you do save future time. And you can also save a lot of money cooking at home and prepping your meals at home. Anyway, those are the benefits of meal prepping. Let's just jump into the first recipe that I made. Let's go.
So the first thing I made is a lentil and potato soup. This is super affordable, high in protein and filling, and it turned out to be absolutely delicious. Soups are also perfect for meal prep as you can just make a big batch and with very little effort. I recommend making the soup first thing as it's going to take the longest, but you can just let it cook while making other things. So to get started, I actually made my own veggie stock using some veggie scraps that I saved from cutting vegetables. You know, the leftover onion peel, parts of celery that you throw out. I recommend saving these things in a bag in the freezer or fridge, and then you can just boil them with water later for at least 20 to 30 minutes or so and create a no sodium veggie broth that you can use as a base for soup. So that's what I did, and once you're done, you can simply strain it and now you have a veggie broth. And obviously, if you don't want to make your own, you can just use store-bought veggie broth. While I was making the veggie broth, I diced up the holy trinity of soups: onion, carrots, and celery. This is going to be the most labor-intensive part of this recipe, so if you're lazy, you can actually dice these in a food processor, which is very quick. I do find the dicing process quite therapeutic from time to time, so I like to do it manually sometimes. Next, we're going to peel and chop some potatoes into small bite-sized chunks. You can make them as big as you want. I prefer them to be a bit smaller. And also, did you guys know that potatoes are the most satiating food according to the satiety index? So basically, potatoes help you stay full and feel more satisfied. Amazing. And now let's heat up some oil on a large pot or Dutch oven on medium-high heat. And let's add in our diced onions and also some minced garlic. I already have minced garlic because of my lovely garlic hack. If you guys don't know, I'll link that video down below if you haven't seen it yet. It basically allows me to have minced garlic all the time without me having to mince it every time. After you cook up the onion and garlic for a couple minutes, you can add in some Italian seasoning. I also added some paprika or smoked paprika and also some tomato paste. Mix that in, and then let's add a large can of chopped or diced tomatoes along with our veggie broth. And now you can also add the celery, carrots, and potatoes. Now we can also add some salt, and if you want, you can also add black pepper as well. Just make sure you add salt to taste. If you used a no sodium or low sodium veggie broth like me, you'll need to add a bit more salt. But if you used a salty veggie broth, you probably won't need so much, so just make sure you adjust according to taste. Then I'm going to add some canned lentils that I've drained and rinsed. And of course, lentils are very high in protein and very good for you. And you can also cook your lentils from scratch, but I did a lot of cooking on this day and I just didn't want to bother. So I just used canned, which is totally fine. Then I just let this come to a boil and turn the heat down to a low simmer and then just let it cook for about, 30 minutes or so, or just until the potatoes have cooked completely. I actually like to do this and then I like to let it kind of sit in the pot for a bit in the warmth just to let the flavors make love, and I just feel like it makes it extra flavorful and delicious. And when you're done, you can simply enjoy this right away, or of course, let it cool down and refrigerate it and enjoy it within the next 4 to 5 days. This is also great for freezing as well, so you can have it as an emergency meal for those lazy days when you don't feel like cooking. You can also top this with some vegan cashew parmesan if you wish, which I'll link a recipe down below. Enjoy.
So as I mentioned earlier, you guys, I am not a fan of waste, and not just food waste, my friends. I don't like any waste, which is why I'm so excited to partner with Blue Land, which is today's sponsor. Now guys, I will admit that I am not the most perfectly sustainable human being out there, but over the last few years, I have incorporated a few sustainable practices like using reusable menstrual products and also washable paper towels, like things like that. So I definitely want to incorporate more ways of reducing waste in my life, which is why I'm so excited to partner with Blue Land, because they make affordable and convenient household and cleaning products with reusable packaging. So this is how it works. You simply fill your Forever bottle with warm water and drop one of the tablets into the warm bottle. Then you wait for the tablet to fully dissolve, and then you can close up. Now it's ready to use, and whenever you've used up all the product, you can simply keep the bottle, guys, and order a refill and just repeat. How amazing is that, guys? You literally just make your own soap and cleaning products and just reuse the bottles. So I got the Clean Essentials kit, which includes a foaming hand soap, bathroom cleaner, a multi-surface cleaner, and a glass and mirror cleaner. And I absolutely love the hand soap and how it foams up. And I also love this packaging. I think the packaging is just so cute. And Blue Land, guys, does not use any single-use plastics in any component, whether it's bottles, tablets, or wrappers, or even in the shipping process. Their products are also effective and very, very affordable, you guys. You can get refill tablets starting at only $2.25. Because you're not paying for the bottle. So it makes sense. So guys, today Blue Land is offering you guys 15% off your first kit using the link down below. So make sure you check them out, you guys. I am a huge fan. I cannot wait to continue to reuse these bottles and no longer have to buy new bottles and waste my money and also waste bottles. So if you guys want to join me on this sustainable journey, make sure you check out the link below. Once again, that's 15% off your first kit. And thank you so much to Blue Land for sponsoring today's video, making such an awesome product. And let's get on with the next recipe.
The next recipe I meal prepped was an absolutely delicious spinach pasta using very simple ingredients. Now I know you have a bag of spinach on the verge of going bad in your fridge right now. I know you do, so don't let it go bad and make this dish right now. I promise you it's very easy and so good. First, let's cook up our pasta of choice because we can make the sauce while the pasta is cooking. I'm using this whole grain spaghetti as it's slightly higher in protein, but you can use whatever pasta you'd like. And if you want to make this even higher in protein, you could use a high protein pasta such as lentil or chickpea based. Nowadays, there's a ton of those in the market and they're actually quite delicious now. While the pasta is cooking, we can prep the other ingredients. Now this part is completely optional, but I decided to make a vegan hemp seed parmesan. I actually had a hemp and chia seed mixture, so that's actually what I'm using, but I would just use hemp seeds for this. Or you can make my cashew parmesan as well, which again is linked below. Hemp seeds are just higher in protein. There are about 3 grams of protein per 1 tablespoon of hemp seeds, which is pretty good. So definitely try making this hemp seed parmesan. So it's very simple. All you do is add some hemp seeds into a food processor along with some nutritional yeast, garlic powder, and salt, and simply blend that up until it's finely ground. And there's your parmesan. You can store this in the fridge for probably months and sprinkle it on anything. Set that aside and don't clean your food processor just yet. Now that we have our high protein parmesan, we can make our spinach sauce. Let's heat some olive or avocado oil on a large pan on medium heat. I'm using avocado oil here because I heard somewhere it has a higher smoke point than olive oil, and although I'm not entirely sure what that means, I think it's supposed to be better for cooking. I don't know. Either way, use olive or avocado or whatever, okay? Heat that up on medium heat, then let's add lots of garlic, minced or sliced thinly. You'll want to cook this and try your hardest not to burn it, okay? I tend to burn my garlic very easily, so I just try to be careful and cook it up to just let it slightly brown, but not burn. Stir it constantly, and if you feel like it's getting too hot, just lift up the pan. I find that helps a lot. Now you can turn the heat basically off or to low, and then I'm gonna add some baby spinach. You You can also use regular spinach as well. You just might want to chop up the spinach a little bit if you're using regular before you do this step. We're going to be using a lot of spinach, so we're basically making a spinach sauce. Stir this around and let the spinach wilt with that residual heat, and it should be very quick. It should only take about a minute or so, and then it'll turn into nothing. Now we're going to add that mixture into the food processor or a blender, and along with some salt and pepper and a bit of that pasta water from the pasta we're cooking up, and then we're just going to blend that up nicely. And there's our sauce. Very simple. And once your pasta is cooked al dente, I would save some of that pasta water on the side. Then in that large pan, add the cooked pasta along with that spinach mixture, and also add a little splash of that pasta water. I ended up having to make some more of that spinach mixture because it wasn't enough, and you can feel free to add small splashes of pasta water as needed to cook this up for another couple of minutes or so, just to let the flavors come together. And then let's add a little salt and pepper to taste, and for more protein, I'm actually adding in a can of white cannellini beans that I've drained and rinsed. And once you're done, top with a generous amount of that hemp seed parmesan, and there you go. That is how you make a high protein, healthy spinach pasta. I mean, I should really call this spinach garlic pasta. Anyway, this is so delicious, okay? It's simple, yet the flavors from the garlic and spinach and that yummy hemp seed parm, they just come together so well. And of course, you can enjoy this right away or enjoy as a lunch or dinner throughout the week. And it should last for up to, 4 to 5 days in the fridge in a tightly sealed container. And you can also freeze this as well. And last but not least, we are making an absolutely delicious sweet and sour tofu stir fry. This goes perfectly with rice, so make sure you cook up some rice to go with this. It's super comforting and tastes like takeout, but is much healthier and full of veggies. So let's get started. First, we're going to make a healthier version of sweet and sour sauce. Place a pot or a saucepan on the stove on medium-high heat and add some apple cider vinegar, or you can use rice vinegar. Next, add the juice from a can of pineapple. You can save some of the pineapple to add into the stir fry later. Obviously, don't throw away the pineapple, okay? Now we can add brown sugar, ketchup, soy sauce, or you can use a gluten-free alternative, and then you want to mix this well. I ended up going in with a whisk to mix. So we're going to bring this to a boil, and in the meantime, we need to quickly make a starch slurry. In a small bowl, whisk together some cornstarch and water, and then once the sauce comes to a boil, turn the heat low and stir in the starch slurry and simmer on low until the sauce thickens. And there's our sweet and sour sauce. Now let's prepare our tofu. I cut up some extra firm tofu into bite-sized cubes, and I'm going to coat the pieces with some cornstarch. This is going to help make them slightly more crispy on the outside. You can also press the tofu a bit before you coat the starch if you prefer a more firm texture. Then heat some oil on a large non-stick wok or a pan, preferably a wok, and let's cook up our tofu. Try not to have the pieces touching each other too much, as the starch will stick them together. I like to cook it until the pieces get slightly golden and a little crispy, so just flip it around a few times and just cook them until your liking. Once that's done, set the tofu aside, and in the same pan or wok, add a little more oil, and let's cook up some onions that I cut into chunks, along with some minced garlic and grated ginger. The ginger part is optional, but delicious. And I also added some sliced carrots at this stage because carrots take a while to cook. So cook that for a few minutes, allowing the onions to soften, and then we can add the rest of our veggies. I'm using broccoli, bell pepper, and celery. And I also added some frozen edamame beans to bump up the protein on this dish a little bit more. And I like to add in a little pinch of salt while the veggies are cooking. And once they're cooked, you can add that tofu back in along with that yummy sauce. Don't add all the sauce at first, but maybe a little bit at a time so you can adjust the level of sauce that you want. You might end up using it all or maybe a little bit less. Also, if you're making this in advance, as you probably are if you're meal prepping, you have the option of just keeping the tofu and the veggies separate from the sauce and just adding the sauce in later. This will probably allow the tofu to stay a little bit more crispy, and I don't know. It's up to you though, because I found it perfectly delicious even a few days later with everything mixed together. But if you want to keep the sauce separately, you can do that as well, and then just add that in before you heat it up. And now I'm just adding in some of that pineapple into this stir fry as well. I guess I bought some sort of grated pineapple rather than chunks. oh well, it was still delicious. So I added that in, and then I also added some salt and pepper to taste. And there you go. Here is basically a healthy, delicious takeout dish, sweet and sour tofu stir fry. This is actually so good, you guys. Make sure you enjoy this with a healthy serving of rice.
So if you guys are interested in making any of these, all the written recipes and instructions are all linked below in separate blog posts, so don't forget to check those out. And of course, if you enjoy these recipes, give me a 5-star review on all of the blog posts because those help me a lot. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you check out my meal prep playlist, which is linked down below as well for more vegan meal prep inspiration. And of course, let's thank our lovely sponsor, Blue Land, for supporting this channel and sponsoring today's video. Make sure you check out the link down below to get 15% off your first kit. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!